Apple has just secured another exclusive retail deal in India. And so, could this be the early days of a huge surge of handset sales in the country? And so, that's what I want to talk about in this video. And so, guys, as you smash that like button, let me run that intro. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive right into this one. So you can actually see here, Apple has secured an exclusive deal for its second official retail store called Apple Socket. And Apple actually signed the deal with the mall in July of 2022 and secured a zone where 20 competing brands, including Amazon, Facebook, Google, LG, Microsoft, Sony, and others, are not allowed to open a store or display advertisements. So that's pretty interesting for the mall to do for them. Now, that's not their only bet in India. Recall, guys, that Apple is diversifying its manufacturing into China, and so their number one supplier, Taiwan's Foxconn, is already making the latest phones in India, and they plan to expand the plants in the country. Now, what does this mean for Apple as a whole? Well, I've kind of been alone on the internet, I would say, speaking about this, but I still believe, and once again, I might be completely out to lunch here, but I still believe that Apple is in a challenging position, and all I can do is speak to the numbers, and the numbers are telling a story that's much different than what the analysts and what YouTubers in the finance space are saying. And so the challenging position is that the handset sales growth CAGR is only 4.1% since 2015, and the revenue growth story has largely been based on the services segment, which could continue to slow if handset sales growth continues to stagnate or slow. And so investing in emerging economies like India could actually prove to be the solution, because I think the direction that the iPhone handset sales go dictates the direction that the services sector or the services segment grows. And so I really believe that future success for continued growth for Apple hinges on the growth of their handset sales in emerging economies, and a great one to be in is India. And it's not like people don't understand that. This is an obvious point. You can see here in Barron, this just was released a couple of days ago, that they did say that India could move the needle for Apple. And really what it comes down to is planting seeds for India now, because it could help Apple in the long term. For one, iPhone penetration in India still remains low, believe it or not, leaving room for sales to rise. Apple phones cost more than $367, so they fall in the premium segment of the market, which last year made up only 11% of India's smartphone shipments. And so there's a potential massive opportunity here to Apple. And so, management did say that it was seeing record levels of people switching from Androids in India and in Mexico. And so, they're really looking to make inroads in India by opening that store in Mumbai, followed by the new store that they just opened in New Delhi. And, just from an economic perspective, as the world is slowing down, India is actually speeding up. I mean, at least up here, you notice that, the growth of the Indian economy is expected to be 8.2% up until 2025 on average. And then, they still remain significantly higher than all of the world averages and all of the major economies in the world. So this is absolutely a place to be investing in. I wish they put Africa in here as well, because Africa is also expected to see high growth rates. And overall GDP is one thing, but what about the smartphone market size in general? And I found a research report which suggests that, India's smartphone market size was valued at approximately $139 billion in 2021 and is expected to grow with a CAGR of 10.5% and reach $281 billion by 2028. So that's a huge growth. And so what's growing, or what's leading to that level of growth? Because you need a story there to support it. And so they're saying that, there's four items that are going to be resulting with that growth. So the one is growing disposable income. The second is the development of their telecom infrastructure. The third is the emergence of budget-centric smartphones. And the fourth is the increasing number of product launches. And so those four together will hopefully continue to grow out the Indian smartphone market at a rate that's significantly higher than other markets in the world. And so here's where there's some inherent weakness in the way that I'm modeling Apple, because I believe that these are long-term growth runways. I haven't actually forecasted that type of sales growth in the handset space for Alphabet in I would say over the next 5 or 10 years, but I could be absolutely wrong. So the way I'm forecasting this is I got 5% growth for iPhone sales in 2023 and then 7% thereafter for the next 5 years, and then it comes back down to 5%. So there could potentially be some serious upside to the way that I'm forecasting handset sales growth. And then, services, I'm kind of just loosely following along the handset growth as well, just a little bit higher in these two areas, and then, relatively in line in this 5 year span. And so, overall, I do believe revenue is going to grow in that medium to high single digit area for Apple over the next 10 years. But once again, I could be very, very pessimistic, and they could seriously outperform considerably than what I'm modeling them out. And so I want to know from you guys what you guys are modeling. What sort of like growth rates are you forecasting for Apple? Why am I wrong here? And if you want access to that Apple model and all the other models that the Patreons get access to, join over 200 Patreons at the lower tier, which gives you access to all the models. Now, if you want to join us on live monthly calls and participate in special live courses and get access to the special comps schedules that I have, this I believe is the best value on YouTube, and you can access that at just $15 a month. Now, once again, I always say that, like, if you try it out and you're not really satisfied in the first 30 days, just email me. I'll refund your money completely. There's no problem. I'm not trying to take your money, and especially if it's no value to you. Now, the other thing is, maybe you just don't want to pay anything. Well, there's an option for you as well. I believe that I've kind of created like these mini courses. I call it the Q&A series, and I believe it's probably the best value on my channel. If you haven't seen the Q&A series, you can get access to the whole Q&A series right here.